What is going on? Welcome back. This is Ola coming to you live from my Empire Pro Studios. I hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Good to see you. Welcome back. Awesome. Another one. Let's get it. Yes, let's get it. Let's get it. Love it. All right. Today, let's talk about the hottest US rental marketers. Why is that important? That's very, very important. Very, very important to talk about this. Now, what I'm going to show you today is not necessarily something I did my own studies on, but we're going to do some analysis and see what they're talking about and see if it makes sense, right? Now, why is this important information? It's important information because as a wholesaler, you need to understand that rental market is probably the best. Like rental investors are probably going to be some of the best ways for you to make the most money, right? Because any type of investment where people are thinking long term always has the best and the biggest returns, and that trickles down to you as a wholesaler. Okay, if an investor is looking to make a quick buck, they just want to rehab the property and put it back on the market. There's that can make you good money too, right? Obviously, but it's just not the same thing as somebody that's looking long term. And renters is obviously the essence of real estate, right? Collecting rent over time. Long-term rental, return on investment, capitalization, that's essentially the ultimate right there. Okay. So yes, let me just make sure. Hopefully, I think I should be fine. I think I'm fine. Let me just make sure that audio is sounding good. I think it's good. All right, great. So I have this article on New York Times. I think, yeah, New York Times. This article is basically talking about the hottest US rental markets. Yeah, New York Times. And I thought we should go through this together. I saw it about 3 days ago. I'm like, this would be interesting to read together. So I haven't touched this since then. I'm just going to analyze together with you as you're here. And then we'll take it from there. Just in case you're wondering, what we do here, we talk about real estate wholesaling in particular. Okay. Real estate wholesale is the heart and the science of finding deeply rooted, deeply discounted properties. Okay, how we do that is we find motivated sellers. Okay, and I'll show you some step by step, really quickly before we end the session. But for now, let's go into the hottest US rental. Let's see if we can get something out of this article. It says a study ranked large metropolitan real estate markets based on availability and popularity of listings. See, that's the criteria right there. Okay, so somebody said the hottest US rental market, you always want to be able to say based on what? What do you mean? Based on what? Right, so now they're telling us based on availability and popularity of listings. I still don't know what that means. By Michael Kolomatsi, renters are flooding the housing market in every corner of the country this spring. But which corners are seeing the most activity? Okay, so it's based on availability of rentals. Okay, the ones where living is more affordable and jobs are abundant. Okay, which corners are seeing? Okay. A new study by Rent Cafe ranked the popularity of the 150 largest US markets for tracking 4 metrics in each: the availability of apartments, listing views. Okay, when there's increased number of views, right? That means there's some sort of indication of demand, like more people are looking for rentals in that area. Listings saved as favorite, obviously, that's an indication of more people looking to rent in that area, you know. But keep in mind, they're also looking at the availability of apartments, which means there's supply, enough supply, right? And saved personalized searches. Okay, so that's the same thing. Listing views, favorites, saved personalized searches. But I'm interested in this one, availability of apartments, right? It's so an economy is created when there's activities going on, not just when there's higher demand or when there's higher supply, not just then. When there's increased amount of activities going on, that's essentially economy. We need money to be exchanging hands. Okay, money needs to be exchanging hands. That's how you know economy is being created. Okay, if you have too high supply but not too many people are actually renting or showing some kind of interest, it's essentially useless. It's a slow market. If you have too much demand but there's not enough supply to take care of this demand, that's not a healthy economy either, right? All right, so let's keep going here. Millions of interactions were analyzed. Okay, there we go. Interactions, transactions, money exchanging hands, right? All right. Millions of interactions were analyzed, and activity from this March was compared to March 2022. 1 year, to rank each rental market as more or less active. Atlanta came out on top, with listings there seeing the most user engagement of any market in March. If people are moving into the city and they're looking at rental listings and stuff like that, that will put a city at the top. Kansas City, Missouri landed in second place. Okay, so followed by Albuquerque, that's New Mexico, right? Though scattered around the country, these markets share important traits. They are relatively inexpensive. There you go. People can work anywhere, remote work, right? And they can also save some. They don't have to live in those cities again, right? California, LA, New York, right? Miami, they don't have to. Now, Atlanta is still experiencing a lot of growth, obviously, right? Because eventually Atlanta will fall into that category too. If too many people are there and everything is too expensive, it's not going to be worth it when you consider the fact that people can work from anywhere. Okay. They're relatively inexpensive and have healthy economies. There you go. Economies. Okay. According to the report, next up was Detroit. Oh my God. Detroit has taken such a turn. Well, I'm thinking 2008, so that's a long time ago. 2008 is what? It's like 15 years ago. Which trailed only Kansas City among Midwest markets. Listings saved as favorites in the Motor City grew by more than 400% over a year, and saved searches grew by 150%. Signs of its revival. Nice. All right, so Manhattan will never die. Manhattan with a 70% drop in available listings, right? There you go. So, and 31% jump in saved personalized searches, okay, since last March. Well, obviously, because, it's still Manhattan, right? It's still New York City. New York City is nobody's mate, right? Came in fifth and topped the Northeast region. Like the other New York City boroughs, it was included as an individual market. Nationally, the Bronx ranked 15%, Queens 53rd, and Brooklyn 66. Staten Island didn't make the cut. Florida deserves a mention. Okay, the Sunshine State has been drawing buyers and renters eager for warm weather and low taxes. This will always be dear to my heart. Okay, these two things: warm weather, no income taxes, right? That's a beautiful thing, right? Hmm. All right. Placed a respectable. Wait. Let's go back. Orlando cracked the top 10, while Fort Lauderdale, a budget-friendly option to adjacent Miami, still expensive, by the way, plays a respectable 25th. Properties marked as favorites in both the Orlando and Fort Lauderdale markets climbed more than 150% over a year. When I say expensive, you should also ask me, what do I mean by expensive? What do you mean? With respect to what, right? With respect to people's potential income or the rest of the country, right? So I'm really saying when people say Miami is expensive, Fort Lauderdale is, yeah, just close enough, okay? In my opinion, at least. This week's chart shows the top results in each of 4 U.S. geographic regions. So here's a table of what we've been talking about. Bustling rental markets. There you go. So Atlanta in the south, Arlington, Virginia, Memphis, Orlando, North Carolina, Durham, Raleigh, Nashville, Richmond, Virginia. Okay. Albuquerque. Let's see. Kansas City. Manhattan. Yeah. Good stuff. For weekly email updates, well, what to know about renting? Let me really go quickly here. Raymond says, would you say cash flow is another indicator of a hot rental market? All those things will point towards cash flow. All those things. So things like saved searches, saved favorites, right? Those are all pointing in the same direction of cash flow. Obviously for us as investors, we're looking for cash flow, but there are leading indicators. See, when they're talking about this on New York Times, they're not speaking our language, but these are leading indicators that will point in the direction of more cash flow, right? So think about it. If there's no availability of rentals, there is no cash flow. If there's no popularity of listings, there is no cash flow. And if we look a little bit closer over here, no availability of apartments, no listing views, there's probably no cash flow. No listing saved as favorites, it's pointing in the same direction. No saved personalized searches. If there's slow traffic on those rental websites like Zillow, apartments.com, so it's the same thing. Yes, absolutely. Same thought process there. I would think that's what most investors look for if we're talking holding a property for a long time. Yes, but we look at you want to pay attention to the leading indicators. By the time you start looking at cash flow as a thing, which is the effect of looking, it's probably like that market is probably slowing down. But if you want to pay attention to trends, you want to look at indicators long before it hits cash flow, right? And that's again those are things like available listings, saved searches, personalized saved searches, saved favorites on this website. So this is why I'm covering this stuff, because I want to be able to see it ahead of it, right? See it before everybody else everybody's talking about the regional banks failing right now, the interest rate spikes, even though it's kind of like capped out a little bit right now. Everybody's talking about the fear stuff, right? At that point in time, Warren Buffett says, what? You need to start paying attention. Don't wait and start paying attention. So now, not just run into the market like a mad person, we can look at the cities where things are happening, like this cities right here, right? Then we can look at it. Now, the way they've stabilized this is based off of the regions, right? Southwest, Midwest, Northeast, right? These are the top markets. You can see here that, let me see. Manhattan is top in Northeast for obvious reasons, it's just, it's a tough city, right? Philadelphia is in that list, right? But let me see here. Let me see what they're saying here. In New York City, across the country, rents are soaring. We're here to help, okay? So if rents are soaring, what should we be doing as investors? Should we shy away from buying? No. You need to be looking into the market, but strategically, right? Looking at certain markets. So if you're a wholesaler and you're a virtual wholesaler and you're looking for deals and you're looking to allocate your marketing dollars in certain cities, this might be some of the cities you want to be looking at, right? So you might even go right in the middle of it, right? Right in the center. Chicago, Phoenix, Wichita. Is that how to pronounce that? Kansas, right? Milwaukee, Indianapolis, right? Right there in the middle, right there. These are probably like gems, like hidden gems that you should probably pay attention to. So I will log into PropStream today, EmpireBigData.com, and I'll start looking at some of the foreclosure listings, see what's going on there, right? See what activities are going. Look at the sales, look at listings, like look at some comparables, see comparables, compare those comparables to actual sales, low-end sales that are happening, investor type of sales that are happening, and see if there's some opportunities there, right? So something to pay attention to. Let me see here. What time is it? I'm looking at the time. Okay. All right. Let's look at this real quickly. I don't do this a lot. Maybe I can do this just tonight, right? Just tonight. Okay. 1 second. The Midwest and the South is not a surprise, right? Because, yeah, that shouldn't, if you're paying attention, it shouldn't be a surprise, right? But let me do this. Let's highlight this today. EmpireBigData.com. Okay. So if you want access to PropStream, okay, there you go. EmpireBigData.com. Let me share my screen. Share. Okay, so the software is PropStream. You can access it to support us using that link, EmpireBigData.com. Okay, and this is what it looks like when you're logged in. Okay, this is what it looks like when you're logged in. Let's take a look like this. There you go. So if I go into one of these cities right here, let me just look at Wichita, Kansas. I'm just gonna pronounce it that way. I've never seen that city before. I think I have, but never really paid attention. What is going on in this market? What do I see? First thing I see is that there are 250 listings on the market, like real estate listings. I don't know what that means. That's just a number because I would want to compare it to other things, other similar markets, right? There's 26 flipper agents. That means 26 agents that have actually listed properties for flippers. That means 26 agents that have actually listed a property that is being flipped. Okay, meaning they bought it in the short term and they are flipping it. Right, that's investor activity, right? But you can also you reach out to some of these agents. They have access to those buyers just in case you find a deal, right? And then there's 3,957 cash buyers. Not all of them are going to be the kind of cash buyer, but that's good number for just that city. That's not really that popular, right? High equity property that has more equity in it, that it has mortgages. That's over 100,000 properties, right? Okay, so if I go into here, pre-foreclosures, go here, notice of default, right? And let me just close that. It says no matching, so that may have something to do with, let me see. Let's try that again. Pre-foreclosures, notice of default. Let's see. No, let me use this. I'll take that out. This is one of your favorite features here, by the way. It says pre-foreclosure. No, not auctions. Pre-foreclosures, right? ST. Oh, I need to put it back there again. Wichita, Kansas. All right, I'm gonna put that. Go back here. Pre-foreclosure is saying no listings. I don't like that personally. Let me go on the vacant. Okay, vacant. Okay, so no pre-foreclosures action. It could be there's multiple variables there. to pay attention to. But there's vacant properties. There's houses laying around for no reason. That's non-performing assets. Okay, those are properties you can reach out to and say, hey, well, this one looks like it's a newly renovated one. Okay, this one looks like it's newly renovated. That's probably why it's vacant, right? But let's look at this one right here. That looks like it has, when you see multiple pictures, it's newly renovated. That's still a signal that there's activities going on there. There's investor activities going on, right? Let me see here. Okay, some of this one that says vacant with no pictures are probably the ones you're looking for. The ones with pictures, especially multiple pictures, there's 35 pictures. That's a house probably about to be listed, but just look closer. Like this one has no photos available, it's vacant, right? So think about it. If it's vacant because it's being recorded by the post office as nobody's responding to mail or anything there, right? But in that same breath, we're seeing properties being listed as they're vacant, but they are newly renovated, right? Those, you need action on both sides. That's how you know that the market is active. I just wanted to show you that really quickly so that you can know what you're looking at. All right. But if you want to play around with that software, empirebigdata.com, they have a free trial up there. Do you think creative finance deals would be a good way to get into this market if you want to scoop a property? Creative finance deals, you're talking about things like subjects to things like, things like that, like creative finance. Yes, the answer is yes. Okay, the answer is yes, but you have to treat that as something that you bring up to the discussion at individual deal by deal level, right? But if a seller is motivated enough, they just want to get rid of the liabilities that comes with the ownership of the property. And yes, they will be open to a conversation that will relieve them of those liabilities. Okay? So the answer is yes, but I wouldn't really worry about creative financing until it's needed, until it's actually solving a problem. I wouldn't, it's not solving any problem. The problem that needs to be solved for majority of you that you watch this is leads. Let's talk about that. Leads. How do we get some more leads on the table, right? How do we get some more leads on the table so we can bring up more conversations around seller finance? Seller financing has to solve a problem before it becomes real. And the truth is that if you have activities going on the market, there's a bunch of vacant properties and potentially motivated sellers, because that's what we're looking for, then yes, they will entertain conversations around relieving them of the stress of the liability always. Okay, so data, we talked about that. Data, stage 2, contacts. You need to start running marketing campaign. If you don't have access to data, there's no need to talk about stage 2. This is the mindset that creates success. It's something I struggle with, something I have to keep reminding myself. I have so many ideas in my head, so many things I want to do, so many and a lot of them is not really solving the present problem in front of me. So I end up wasting a little bit of energy until I catch myself. I say, wait, what's the problem in front of me right now? Is it I need to generate leads? Okay, well, I can't talk about that. Am I generating enough data yet? Do I have access to data, right? I need to be able to solve that. But once I solve that problem, now we can go on to stage 2. Now I can set up marketing campaigns, right? Which you can do in the same platform, right? But I can't talk about creating marketing campaign if I don't have access to data, at least not in this framework, right? Then once I start running some campaigns, then I can say, hey, where are the leads? How come no one is calling? I can't say no one is calling unless I can show that I've actually run some campaign for a little while, right? If I run some campaign for a little while, I'm not getting any kind of action, no one is responding, then we can say, hey, we got a problem. Where are the leads, right? Until we take care of leads coming in, we cannot really talk about stage 4, right? Which is contracts, because you can't generate contracts if you're not talking to leads. If there's no one showing interested in selling, you cannot generate contracts. Okay. And the same token, there's no deals to close if you don't have contracts, right? So stage 1 through 5 over there, that's a free course on the homepage. Take advantage of it. We'll go into a little bit more details on that. And if you want hands-on coaching from me, that's what you get access. realestatemoneysecrets.com. If you want access to the books are free. You can get them realestatemoneysecrets.com. Okay. Yes, and by the way, yes, we will partner with you for stage 5 deal disposition, exit for profit, buying the properties from you. If you have properties you need to sell, you can list them you can basically submit them to us at myempirepro.com/submit. All right. So US rental market, yes, you do need to pay attention to that. You need to pay attention to that because those are where the investors will probably gravitate towards because of the same reasons. Investors are able to get a little bit more creative when there's enough volume in the market on both sides, inventory and also demand. Like saved, people are looking to rent in that area. People are moving into the city to rent, right? So it just makes sense all around. All right. But yeah, that article is on NewYorkTimes.com. By the next 24 hours, I will link it in the article on myempirepro.com/blog or right under this video on YouTube. All right. That's all I have for you today, right? Hopefully you've been enlightened and educated. Thank you very much. Good to see you, man. And thank you for the other 2 people watching in the background. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.